Hey everybody! I haven't done a post in a while, so I was just having a talk with one of the guys in Long Beach about my S18 journey, and I thought I would do a review to you or talk about today why I decided to sell my S18 and keep rocking the good old 16X back here, the crusher wheel. The reason I bought the S18 is because I was having a sore knee issue after riding with the Dan and his crew in Long Beach. Those guys ride really hard and really fast, and I was on an 84-volt wheel, and every day I become a better rider. With every crew I ride with, I learn new techniques, and honestly, I am grateful to have learned from some of the best. I really appreciate La Luxina comes to mind, Dan and his crew in Long Beach, Douglas up here, Tyler Stites, of course, helping me get into the EUC world. But the reason I got the S18 is because I was having knee issues. I thought the S18 would help with that, with the suspension, and honestly it really did. And when I was traveling through Arizona, Utah, and Phoenix, the terrain out there is very different than the terrain here in Portland and on the West Coast. And honestly, I much prefer the terrain on the West Coast in Portland. The ground is much more forgiving. There aren't nearly as many just rocks. It's a lot of rocky, very dry, hard packed dirt trails in Phoenix, Utah, Vegas. Lots of really fine silt, sitting on top of things. And honestly, the silt isn't good for the S18. That S18, while it was great for super technical trails, as soon as I got that S18 out of that dry, rocky terrain and I returned to the West Coast, man, that thing was just so disappointing. And I tried, I put a new tire on there. I put some Clark Pad version 1s on there, and I felt like, oh, I have more control, and I could definitely feel the stability of the tire. But man, that torque was just so disappointing. And I'm comparing that to a 16X, an 84, an equal wheel, an 84-volt wheel. And I'm pretty sure they're pretty comparable in other features as well. But the suspension, by definition itself, is non-responsiveness. And honestly, God, I have re-fallen in love with the 16X. I am so locked into that wheel. I have the Merlin Fish pedal plates, which is an industrial pedal. It's not as lightweight as some of the ones that have the openings for rocky trail stuff. But here in Portland, man, those Merlin Fish pedal plates, they have an industrial feel to them, and I love just being locked in with my shoes on that thing. I also redid the pads, the power pad setup. Douglas from Rev Rides helped me out with that a little bit last week on the Sunday Rev Rides ride, and I've since then taken his design and cut it down to where it fits quite a bit better. I'll just show you guys really quick, just some simple Velcro pad setup, and it just helps me lean into the wheel. But let's continue on with my S18 talk. So things that made a difference: the terrain, the where you're riding. What else was I going to talk about? The suspension is also non-responsiveness. So, just like I was talking about before, when you dig into a 16X, when you tell it go, the S18, there's like a hesitation there, and that's the forgiveness. The forgiveness, all of that like cushy play you have is non-responsiveness and loss of torque. And man, that 16X, that wheel just wants to climb. It's a fun wheel. And when I found myself stepping on the S18, I was just like, ugh, every time. Oh yeah, and I wanted to talk about the 16X pad setup. So what I had done originally was just taken a set of Sherman pads and just like plopped them on my 16X. And when I did this, the Sherman pads are a one-piece pad, so it made the overall width of my tire just that much more. And that much more was all I needed to kind of affect my riding. And at the time, I was also a newer rider. This is my first wheel. I didn't have proper riding technique down, so it caused me to ride in such a way where I was hurting my knees. And when I rode with the Long Beach crew, between my improper riding technique and those pads just bowing out my wheel that much more, it just irritated my knee, caused me to get that S18, which I'm grateful I bought, because I had to go through the troubles of setting that wheel up by myself because I was in Utah and there were no other real experienced riders out there besides Mark, but I didn't meet him until much later when I had already had my S18 and it was, you know, kind of already set up. And but anyways, so those are a couple of the reasons why I decided to get rid of my S18. I just could not get over the lack of torque. It was just such a disappointing experience. Every time I stepped on that wheel, I just found myself desiring the torque and the pep of the 16X. And like one of my most favorite things to do is to just climb mountains. I just love like torquing up hills. You know, even the Sherman, you know, on the 16X, I feel like I can like dominate over hills better than like Sherman's. But that's like a whole nother discussion, Sherman's and their torque capabilities. So anyways, I just wanted to do a quick video and let everybody know I did indeed sell my S18, in fact, quite some time ago. And in that time, I have fallen in love with my crusher wheel, the 16X. I am definitely riding the beeps and the pushback on the 16X. I'm so ready for my V12. I put in my pre-order from eWheels the day that they announced that they were taking pre-orders. So I feel confident that I will be on the first batch, which should, fingers crossed, be here within the next week or so. If not, I am also, you know, that Alien Rides Nikola, that 2,700 watt-hour Nikola, that's also caught my eye recently. You know, I mean, they're very, the Nikola, Alien Rides Nikola and the V12, you know, they have a lot of similar qualities. They're both a 16-inch wheel with a 3-inch width tire. And you guys know I love that from the 16X. But the V12 has all of like the cool little like, oh, touch screen and all like the bloopy stuff. And I am also very excited for the water resistance rating on the V12 here in Portland. It's a must-have. You guys know I've had issues with, you know, Gotway build quality. But man, I'll tell you what, the more I get into the scene, the more I understand why people go Gotway. They are the only ones putting out those 100-volt wheels. So, but as you all know, the V12 is coming. I'm super stoked for that. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I did sell my S18, and those are the reasons why. I just needed more of the torque, the power, and the range, everything that the S18 is lacking. And honestly, once I fixed my pad setup, I gave my knee a little bit of rest time to heal. I have some new riding lessons. Oh, V also, of course, Vanessa, you know, like thank you for, I got to ride with her on the 433 rides this last week. And I'm like, oh, very grateful to have like ridden with her. She's a very awesome woman, and I'm like, oh, happy that I could kind of keep up on a group ride with her. She's a badass, and she's got some really sweet like 100-volt wheels. And that's the thing, man, you see people cruising on those 100-volt wheels, and you start seeing like people like V like riding with like such good technique. Like watching V ride, Tyler Stites got a really great video of her on his Sherman the other day, and wow, she's beautiful to watch. She has such great technique. And watching other strong riders ride only makes me better every day. And now that I'm back in Portland, riding with strong riders, riding with like the Seattle crew, this 433 ride, Douglas is helping me learn to jump. I feel very grateful to be back in an EUC friendly community and get into some 100-volt wheels. Ooh, I'm excited. But anyways, that's why I sold the S18. I'm excited to move on to some more powerful wheels and get some new experiences under my belt. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys like enjoy my channel. I need to post more, and I'll start by recording the Friday night ride tonight. I do the Friday night ride, the Wednesday Tabor. There's like a dance party up at Tabor. I do that every Wednesday. And of course, the Rev Rides Fast Ride held by Douglas. We meet up there in Vancouver. And that's actually my favorite ride of the week because like I just want to go fast. So thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you next time I do a video. Later. Bye.